right, everybody, welcome back. Myself, Scott Frost, with Brad Silver, and letting these guys hit a few more balls. They're going to start here within about 1 minute. And there you have it. So we'll just quickly go over the rules if you want us to. We can get you a little content on that. Yeah, and here we are, stage 2 event, or 2-stage event. Stage 1 is double elimination. Stage 2 is single elimination. It is a race to 10 in each match. We are using the WNT break box. Rack your own. Alternate the break, which we think is key here, with 4.5-inch diamond tables, which are beautiful, and then all ball fouls, meaning you touch any ball with any part of your body or any ball but the cue ball with any part of your body or your cue on accident, it's a foul. Low Ho Sum versus Sam Henderson, Brad.
It should be a great match. Again, two fairly even Fargood players, a 727 and a 756. Not a massive gap there. Both in a race to 10. Should be exciting.
Yeah, I look for this to be a really high-end match here. Sam Henderson, one of the most talented young players in America. I know he's working really hard on his game. Low Ho Sum, also a WNT player. Both WNT players, by the way, lagging for the break.
I'm going to tap out real quick. We have a special guest. Give me just one moment.
And you see it there. Sam Henderson wins the lag. This is a race to 10 WNT format, as we've touched on. Our good friend, the boss. She's in the building.
I'm so sorry. I was laughing because I got the headphones the wrong way around. For someone who's actually a little bit technical when it comes to headphones, I'm literally sat here trying to push them around. Scott had to help me. So if you heard me laughing, I apologise. But I just want to say, hey everyone, this is my first time at Super Billiards Expo. Can I just say, I am like a kid in a candy store.
Of course you are.
There's pool tables everywhere. I nearly just swore. I'm so excited about it. There's literally just walk around. There's so many different halls. There's like just pool tables. Everyone's got their own booths. You know, obviously I've been at the Q-Tech booths. It's like my second home. But then you've got the players. They've got their own booths as well.
Yeah, they're doing big things with those booths, right? Billy Thorpe, Action 24/7, and Skylar. And
I didn't
all these
know
other guys.
that they have this brand now. And, you know, I was there. I was giving away T-shirts 2 for 1. And then they told me I wasn't allowed to do that. And then I was, saying, they were like, these are 40% off. It's a clearance. I was like, yeah, but for you guys, it's 60% off. And, obviously they told me to go away because I was giving away products. But then Fedor, he's got his own booth. And then he's also playing next to as well. Jason, he's got his booth with Onboard. I just think it's fantastic. And then I come back here and you guys are all sat behind here. Frank's clicking away. He's doing a great job with the stream. And, hats off to the team here. Alan Hopkins. Obviously, this tournament, obviously sponsored by Diamond. This is a great event. I love it.
Yeah, it really is. It's been a while since I've been here, Emily. We can get lost out there in that sea of pool tables. I parked on the wrong side of the building. It was kind of like you with the headphones. It was hard for me to find this room. I can tell you that right now.
I did the same. I got dropped off and the guy's like, he's like, do you want me to wait here for you to check this is the right entrance? I was like, no, I'll be fine. I'm a strong, independent woman, right?
Right.
Come in and they're like, yeah, you're going to need a ticket. And I'm like, I don't really know what to do here. So I go to the ticket booth. I'm like, is there a pass? They're like, no.
They had no idea who you were from.
No, but I'm obviously not going to be like, hey, I'm from Madrid, give me a pass. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was ready to like pay my $20 to get the ticket.
Aww.
There was this gentleman behind me called Mark who I met. And he's like, hey, Emily, I got you. He's like, you should let her through. And then he showed me the way to back here. And I felt like such like a little kid.
That's pretty good stuff, though.
So, sorry, we've just been chatting away here. Obviously, this match has just started. Two of our World NineBall Tour pros, Sam Henderson and Loho Sum.
Yeah, and, we were just talking about this, and I hate to throw anybody under the bus, and I don't think I'm doing that, but neither of these guys are seeded. And so Sam's mom had just come to me, and we talk about things that come up, so we'll look into it, but Sam's mom had come to me.
Oh, gosh, you've really put me on the spot here.
No, it's not. I don't think that's you, though, is it?
Oh.
I don't. That's why I would say it. I mean, I would never throw you under the bus, but I don't think it's really you. I think that it was something overlooked, maybe in the system, or maybe not. Because did they? I don't know if they seeded 16 or 32. But the point being is that maybe something was overlooked on our end. Really, is where I'm going with that.
Yeah. Well, it's a WNT ranking event at the end of the day, so we take. Full responsibility for anything that happens. I think that there's a lot, obviously, with how we seed our tournaments, half the field are normally seeded. When we have an open tournament, it's quite straightforward to seed 128 players. I think there are just too many pros here.
Yeah, you're right, and probably too many higher ranked players, and that's possibly just what it is.
Well, what a lovely problem to have, but again,
Absolutely.
It's something that we'll note down, and we always strive to be the best version of ourselves and try and improve. So, it's something that we learn, note down, and hopefully get it right for next year.
Well, it is actually. I just got word, so I am the fool. But there are too many high-ranked players, or there's more high-ranked players, so they're just outside the cut, and
Gotcha.
that happens, right? But that is a credit to what you guys are doing and what everybody's doing as a whole. So I think it's a great thing.
Well, I must say it is lovely to be back in like a pool arena. I do get withdrawal symptoms from NineBall, obviously, because it's now in my blood. Premier League pool finished, and I was just like, right, I need my next pool fix. So now I know how everyone feels when they're at home, and they're like, when's my next pool event? This is why, WNT TV is here, and we have so many great organisers who have joined the World NineBall Tour. To allow for us to have so many events on this calendar. But we just also went on sale with our Florida Open tickets. We went on priority sale to WNT TV subscribers, and then general sale. We've done really well with this. Oh, okay, there's a promo here. I'm loving this technology we've got here. Scott seems right pro at it. He's getting a few little tips from Frank, but... So, yeah, just went on sale with the tickets. But also, guys, in case you missed it, Florida Open entries have also just gone live today. So I've seen a few people around the Expo saying, oh, damn, I saw the entries go up. I'm like, yeah, you best get them up quick, 'cause it's only $250 entry fee. The hotel's a really good price as well. And the Carib, wow, what a hotel. If you came for the Moscone Cup, then I don't need to sell it to you. But if you didn't, ask one of your friends who came to the Moscone Cup last year. That hotel is wonderful. So if you're up for playing in the event, and maybe the US Open is a little bit too on the higher end of the spectrum, like $750 to play, you're looking at the Florida Open a little bit cheaper. And that's the 5th to the 10th of August. So super excited for that one. And there it is.
Yeah, the 5th through the 10th of August, and Emily said it. I mean, the Caribe Royale really is as good as it gets. I had a blast there. The venue, if you weren't at the Moscone Cup, I've commentated a couple of matches, and I couldn't hear myself talk at any point. So it was really
fabulous, wasn't it?
Really good.
I just must say, and I know I'm British, and I shouldn't really say this, but I love the American crowd there.
I know you do.
They're just so patriotic. Everyone's singing along. Everyone's in fancy dress. It was probably the biggest fancy dress Moscone Cup I'd ever seen, and that was pretty amazing.
If I could just add, I've been to 7, and that was by far my most favorite one.
And he's not just saying that because I'm here, guys. He genuinely believes that.
Yeah, Frankie's a big supporter and does a lot for us. All right, so I think, Emily, the guy on the left side of our screen, Sam Henderson, I think he is going to be one of the players for Team USA within the next few years. He's got so much talent.
I agree. He's a great kid. You know, wants to learn, like, any time that he's played in any of our events and he's come off the stream table, and if he's like win or lose, he's like, no, I'm gonna, you know, learn from this and I move on to the next one. You know, he's fully committed to the tour, plays in all of our open events. I love putting him on the stream because I feel like we're preparing him, we're getting him ready for the Moscone Cup Arena for when he does make that team. But you know, one of the reasons why we launched a secondary USA event in the Florida Open was so we can have another junior event. So there will be a junior event alongside the Florida Open. So the whole point of this tour is to find the next superstars, not just singular, but, you know, plural. There are so many talented players out there and so many talented juniors, and we've got to prepare them, we've got to get them into the arena, get them ready for when they do join the World NineBall Tour, like Sam Henderson here.
Yeah, and you couldn't have said it better. The next star, I think there's several stars, but that's what you guys do best. I'm grateful for the opportunities I've had, but look at what Jason Shaw's done, Feder Gorst, Ruiz, Shane Van Boning. It goes on and on and on. And this young man right here, I'm just being honest, he could be a multimillionaire within the next 4 years, within the next 3 years. And I think that's what professional pool needs. Whether it's one star for the next few months, all you've got to do is win. And if you get the young players involved, like you're doing at the Caribe Royale in Florida, I think there's big opportunities. And I don't think there's ever been a better time to be a pool player in the history of our sport.
That's the thing. I feel kind of sorry for some of the older players now who probably, and Scott's just raised his hand, but I think, like, without no disrespect, Scott, but like slightly younger than you.
Sure.
Because even like, maybe like the likes of even like Jason Shaw or FSR, you know, imagine, like, they must be looking at it and thinking, wow.
Yeah, if they were 10 years younger.
Yeah,
right?
Like, how incredible would that be, that opportunity? So, you know, I kick myself every day that we didn't do this sooner. But, you know, everything happens for a reason. You know, we have to build slowly but surely, make the right decisions. And I do feel like everything we've done has got us to this moment. And, you know, Paul's in, you know, I'm not just saying it, 'cause obviously I'm not trying to blow smoke up my own arse, but
Well, you're not that way, but
it's just like the tour is in this position because of what we've done, and we created a tour like this. There isn't one that's out there that exists, like a global tour like this, that's actually consistent. You know, things come and go, and, you know, events go, they come and they leave, or this is a consistent tour that, yeah, we're nowhere near where we need to be yet, but yet is the main thing here. That's the most important word. It's just, we just got to keep doing what we're doing, keep building it. And hopefully there is some sort of hope and some inspiration to those younger players who are out there to think that, you know, if I do pick up a cue and become a professional pool player, I might actually make a proper living. And I hope that we do that for the likes of the Franciscos, for the likes of Skylers, you know, Loho Sum, who's like
absolutely
not in that junior category. We will make it. I know it will, because I won't give up until we do.
No, and I know you won't. I think that's one reason you're getting so many people behind you. They don't only know your work ethic, but they also know that you're not going to give up, or we are not going to give up. Your team is amazing, and everything you guys have done from day one. And I've only been around a few years, but it's pretty special to see. And I know these young guys are watching very closely.
Well, it's all about the partners that we have on board. It's like you said, Scott, like, we have I love our team that we have around us. You know, we obviously have our Matchroom Pool core team who come in the office every day. They're, you know, hours on end. But then we have our, you know, our other team, our extended family, which, you know, you, JJ, Carl, lots of people that come to all of our events, Marcel, and, you know, put in the hours. Normally the first one's there, the last one's to go, and it's all one big team. But then also you have all the partners that we have on board that make it happen. If it wasn't for other organisers, other promoters, other people coming together for the World NineBall Tour, it wouldn't be where it is. And so it's all like-minded people who want to see the sport develop and evolve, but actually realise that you need to do something about it. It's all great, us all sitting here and go, yeah, we want more money for this sport. Yeah, well, let's get off our asses and do something about it, but also be forward-thinking. We can't be stuck in the, you know, dark ages of it has to be this way, it has to be that way. You know, you try something. If it works, you know, we changed the break rules a little while ago. That could have gone really bad, but okay, we could have tried it and then gone to another way. But I think the great thing about what we do is that we can develop and we can change to, you know, suit the environment, and provide a better tour for these players, because that's all what we want to do. Every single one of us wants to see pool on the map, but as a global professional sport. Sometimes we get a little bit stuck thinking this is a major sport and we sit in our little bubble, but it's not yet. So without the help of a lot of our partners, like this tournament that's happening now, you know, we wouldn't be in the position we're in, and I just know we're gonna grow and grow.
You absolutely nailed it there, though. I it's just so nice to hear coming from somebody like yourself. You've got digital pool, PA and Pro-Am pool, and everybody that's doing everything. It takes an army, because you guys are only so many people. Oh, there she is. Look
Frank.
at her. Frank, did you lighten those eyes up? My goodness.
That's definitely edited, that is. That was also like 5 years ago. I feel like I've got like 100 more grey hairs since that photo was taken.
No. But it's pretty special to see what's happening, and I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Oh, I'm super excited. I wake up every day excited to go to work.
Yeah, it was surprising you came out here. I was like, wow.
It was a really last-minute decision.
Was
I'm
it
not
really?
going to lie.
I figured.
You know, the thing is that it's obviously close to Atlantic City. We've got the US Open there this August.
Yeah.
So I'm going to Atlantic City tomorrow. I'm going to have a few meetings, obviously, with the team on site. We want to, obviously there's 500k total prize fund for the US Open this year, so I want to make sure that that arena is absolutely, you know, beautiful. And then, you know, there's so many partners that are here for us. You know, we've got the support like Diamond, Q-Tech, obviously Aramis, Simonis, Kamui, Magic Ball Rack, and everyone is here in this building. And I wanted to come and show my support for this ranking event. Come and see the players. I like being around, so if the players have questions, you know, about events that are coming up or anything like that, they can come and ask me. So, you know, it's good to be here. I'm glad I made the trip.
It says a lot. It says a lot to me, but it sends a lot to everybody. It sends a message. I personally know how tough it is to travel on the flight. You never stop traveling. I feel like I never stopped traveling. We just spent a long time in Bosnia. But
Too long.
Too long. It was a long time. But that being said, like you said, like 2 or 3 days after I got home, and I was like looking around, like I didn't know what to do with myself.
No, you don't, do you?
No, you really don't.
So what I want, Scott, is I want it that you finish Bosnia, right?
Yeah.
You're home for 2 days, then you unpack, you wash your clothes, you repack, and you get your ass back on another flight.
Well, that's what's happened.
That is what I want these pros to be able to have the opportunity, and not that they all have to go to all of these events,
right?
But they've got the choice. You know, they might be like, oh, do you know what? I don't fancy that. I want to go on holiday. I want to do this. I want them to have the opportunity where they can go on holiday because financially they're supported, but also they go, no, I want to go and play. Like, I want to pick up my cue. I want to play. So, you know, it's all well and good me saying all of this, but it takes a lot of work for that to happen.
But it's happening.
It is happening, yeah. It is happening. And, you know, I just feel sorry for those younger players because they're going to have to be travelling a hell of a lot.
They sure are. Yeah. But I think you're going to make them perform, right? This has given them something to really improve on and work towards, and I just think it's great. I think it's absolutely great. I wish I was 20 years younger just to see it. Uh-oh, a big miscue there. didn't expect that from Sam.
Also, Emily, if I can add, you owe me about 8 hours of sleep. I saw that you were coming. I didn't go to bed. I totally made sure everything was tip top shape. So the boss is coming. I got to make sure it's like getting a performance review.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Frank. The setup's great, and you're doing a great job with the stream. And I know that my team back in the UK has said that it's been, for us, we spend a lot of time away from home. We don't see our families that much, like my team included. And when we have great people that we can work with, that makes our jobs a hell of a lot. It doesn't make it easier, it just makes it nicer.
That's right.
And it's the same, like when we have a team on board and, it doesn't matter who you are. Sometimes you just need a coffee and, people go and grab you coffees and things like that. So Frank, just to say, like, the team on the ground has been great, and it just makes our lives that little bit nicer. So we need more of you, please.
Yeah, I hate it. I have to do it though. What about Jake, Adam, her right hand team? They're such great people, and she's had them for a long time. They don't go anywhere. We're talking about Jake and Adam, Jack. Now Henry, I mean, they're just great people.
Don't
Obviously,
forget the galleys.
Phoebe.
You got Phoebe.
I was going to Phoebe. She's my number one if I can't reach you. But she's great, and your team, and then India, right?
Yeah.
This team that I just touched on, folks. If you don't know, and you probably don't, I don't expect you to know, but they're just under Emily, and they're constantly punching the clock. They're constantly working. They're constantly the ones pushing the social media. And these people are talented, very, very talented, and they don't stop working. I can come home. I can commentate for a matter of time. I can come home. They're back at the office in Europe, and they're constantly working. But that's good news for us. That means we've got more stuff happening.
Well, the thing is that I think what's so great about our team, myself included, none of us play pool. We
Yes.
never have done. We do it just on, like, for banter. I do it for a few trick shots because I'm trying to play pool, but it turns into a trick shot. Genuinely do not play me because I'm one lucky person. No, secretly I'm actually really good. I'm going to go undercover at an event, I think, once. But none of us are pool players. So we're all casual sports fans. And that's why I think that we're the ones that will take this sport to the next level, because we think more outside the box. Sometimes when you're so in, this sport, you think too within the sport.
I love it.
As a team, we go to, like, NFL games.
Yeah.
We went to the WWE recently. Oh my gosh, can I just say, the money they spent on that production looked incredible. I was so jealous. I was like, I want Moscone like this. We were all sat there, and it was me and the boys, obviously, and we kept saying to one another, imagine the Moscone Cup in front of 20,000 fans. And I'm like, I'm crazy enough to know that it's going to happen because, like, I just manifest that stuff, right? But imagine being able to take Paul to that next level. And I just feel like we've got such a passionate team that want to see that happen.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I saw the video. Those guys were jacked. They were so pumped up, right? And then I saw your post, right? I know how bad you want it. It's pretty obvious what's happening here, right? Everything you've wanted, you've tracked down and attacked it. And I think that everybody's behind you, and I'm being sincere about that. It looks good. The future looks bright for
it does, doesn't
pool. It really does.
Or tomorrow I might just wake up and decide, you know what, that's it. I've had enough. I'm going to go open a garden centre or something.
I don't see it. I don't think you could walk like that. I just know you. You are a hard-driven person, and it's a good thing because we need it.
2 apiece on this game. I'm so sorry, everyone. We've not commentated at all on this match, purely because I don't commentate on pool, obviously. We've just been chatting away about all things NineBall and matchroom pool.
Yeah, so you came out here. I'm sure you're going to Atlantic City?
Yes.
Nice.
AC tomorrow.
Okay.
US Open stuff.
Good stuff.
Love the US Open. Might be my favourite event. No. Oh, I don't know. They're all my favourite. Love the Hanoi Open. But the Moscone Cup, that gives you, like, shivers up and down your spine like you've never experienced before.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, the U.S. Open was amazing as well. I was just going to say a word I probably shouldn't have said, but it's absolutely, it's that good to me. You know, Barry Berman back in the day, I never missed a U.S. Open, Emily. Growing up, I never missed one when I was of age, and I loved it. And then when you guys took it over, I was like, oh, gosh, here we go. And then when I went to my first one that you guys did, I was like, oh, wow, this is pretty impressive.
And then all that stuff happened.
I knew you were going to say that. But
I secretly love it because I feel like when that foul and that whole situation happened, I met Scott Frost.
Yeah.
And I love that. And
Yeah.
I'm happy. I know that you lost at the end of the day.
No, yeah.
And so you might feel differently, but I'm so happy that entire situation happened because you coming back into commentary the next day to kind of tell your story on it, because obviously we posted the whole rack out. You know, we were getting pelters for it because we put it out on social media, but then you came back and explained it on commentary, and then I was sat in the office and I was listening to you and I was like, wow, Scott's a really good commentator. So from that situation, like, I massively believe in everything happens for a reason. So, you know, that situation going into you commentating kind of opened the door for you to come on board with us.
So grateful.
So I love that.
Yeah, very grateful. I actually went to Emily about an hour later. I was up in my room and I messaged Emily, and I was literally in tears. I was in tears because the old Scott back in the day probably would have
punched the wall,
handled something differently, right? But I am totally different now. But I was in tears, like I was up in my room, and I'm thinking, man, I didn't realize that was the qualifying. You know, I think I make the final 64 if I win that in each match. I'm getting stronger. But I was in tears when I went to you, and you didn't know me from Adam, so I'm thinking this woman probably thinks I'm just as soft as can be.
No.
But it really did kind of change the trajectory of what I'm doing, and I'm very, very thankful for all the opportunities.
Well, we love having you on the team.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, as an outside guy, we love that Matchroom embraces that type of drama. It's not just a quiet brushing under the
gosh,
rug.
no.
We love that there's a social media aspect of it, and if something goes wrong at a match, A, you guys always take ownership for it, but B, it's hey, let's talk about it, let's put it out there on social media. And as fans, you know, obviously I'm a fan before I became doing this, we love it.
Well, you want to see that raw stuff, right? You want to see that stuff happen, and at the end of the day, I mean, I say it to everyone, I'm like, look, if you're gonna have an argument, make sure there's a camera pointing at it. But you know, I think that's why, like, the Moscone Cup is, you know, it is what it is these days, because we've created this rivalry. Like, yeah. I would say Clint Catchy, he got MVP last year for me in the Moscone Cup. I know Jason technically got it, but he got MVP for the press conference for me, because all of a sudden Catchy just came out of his shell.
Yeah, he came to life.
And, like, I wasn't probing him at all, and he just come out and he's coming out with these one-liners, and I was like, wow, I'm absolutely loving this. Like, you know, these, like, head-to-head things that he was having with Fedor, and, you know, the Moscone Cup is just, you can never beat that kind of event. You're never going to be able to.
No, you're never going to, and I think that was the catalyst. I mean, obviously, you know that. You've built off of that event, right? But I think that's the catalyst for everything else that's happened. The Florida Open, the U.S. Open, you guys kind of model everything very similar, and the venues just don't get any better. You can't show me a better venue or an arena or matchroom setup anywhere else. You can't do it. Meanwhile, Sam just running on out. Poor Sam. We haven't spoke about him at all. But
no, I'm so sorry, everyone.
Well, they want to hear you, though. I think it's great to have you in the booth. Everybody wants to hear from you, right? I think it's amazing that you came, Emily. I know that we're grateful for it, and I know that it's not easy to make that trip. But you've got to. I feel like you've got something else up your sleeve. I'm not gonna pull it out of you, but I know you got something up your sleeve. I know you're not just gonna come over here, but it is what it is.
I always have something up my sleeve.
Yes, you do.
You know, there's no point having like a wasted trip, right? You got to you got to take maximum, you know, opportunity out of every situation.
Of course.
But I'm going to step out now.
Thank you.
And I'm going to let the real pros do the talking. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who has signed up to WNT TV. I literally love you all. And enjoy the tournament. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
The boss.
Getting old.
Made a long trip. Brad Silver going to get back in. You heard it from her. Florida Open coming up. Good stuff. Low sum to break the balls, but we needed a little break there. And I know that the people like to hear from Emily, and I can promise you she's not just out here visiting. She's got something else going on. But I also promise you they don't tell us. We don't know anything, or when I say they, Emily doesn't leak information to her staff until it's time. So looking forward to what happens in the States going forward. They've just kind of been trading blows here, Brad, back and forth. Notice that they didn't take the template off the table.
Yeah, it always bothers me when I played. Is it not something that really concerns you?
Well, oddly enough, typically on the TV table, we don't see the template there. The ref will typically take it away right away. But since we're in the earlier rounds, I guess that it's up to players to take it off. And they just decided not to, but he might move it over a bit there.
Yeah, absolutely impedes the path of the cue ball, and I think it's a better idea just to get out of the way. So when I had a moment for a breather there when Emily stepped in, I got a chance to go over and watch some of the match in person, and Sam looks great. Super confident shooter, and Loho equally firing back. So yeah, super. I mentioned earlier I thought a lot of these matches would stay pretty even keeled throughout, and this is another close one. 3-2. Looks like it might be a barn burner. We'll see.
Well, I think that's a good prediction as well, right? At this level of play that you're just touching on in the alternate the break format, I think that we are going to see a lot more matches that are a little bit closer, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes it exciting. You don't want to see either player run away with the match, and both players are playing good. All right, even up, 3-3. Race to 7 from here.
Yeah, good stuff. Oh, my man Joe McGee in the building.
What's up?
He's got a couple of nice bars not too far from here. Really good guy, good friend of Frank Mailetti's. It's producing the show.
Very strong break. It's that one right there in the side pocket. Everything pretty wide open here. Good shot on the 2 to open. Has some options with how he's going to get back up to the 3. That 8 sitting in front of a really big pocket too, in case anything gets a little wonky, is a nice safety valve.
Yeah, good signs from the young man. Stayed down extremely well. I didn't see any body movement from the top end. This is just kind of one of those tricky ones, Brad, where you don't want to follow it in, but you don't really want to roll it either. But I think he's forced to roll this ball. 8's a big ball to begin with.
That's what I mentioned. I think it made more sense to play it like that than to try to drag up and take any risk in missing the ball before. You know that 8 ball is hanging in front of a big pocket. So, easy path from here. Should be pretty straightforward. Come right back behind this 4 ball. Just enough angle. Pull himself straight back for the 5, and pretty straightforward from there with the 6, 7, 9 right sitting at the bottom of the table, all wide open, nothing tied up. Points to where he's trying to drag the cue ball right over to play the 6. Same pocket that he's pocketing the 5 ball now. Picture perfect shape, and he was able to maintain just a little angle just to come natural right back off the rail for the 7, or just feather it in. Right off the rail. With that 9 ball, Sam Henderson reclaims the lead 4-3 in the race to 10. It's Loho Sum.
Pius Labutis over Garnett Vaughn. 4-1 right now. Vitali Patsura, 4-0 in the lead over William Zazur. Oscar Dominguez up 5-2 over Frankie Hernandez. Loho Sum to break. Yeah, that's as sweet as it gets. 5 finishing a little awkward, but the contact there was, you could hear the contact from back here where we're sitting, and we're quite a ways away. Very good hit there off the break. What do you think here? Is he a little steep to hold for the pink? I'm surprised he went that far into it, and if he's going to go that far, not power it out a little bit more.
Absolutely. I think this is almost impossible to hold. I think you almost need to come back and forth. But there's a lot of traffic down table to avoid. I don't know if you want to get in. You definitely don't want to touch anything if you can avoid it. And there's a big enough window if he can make his way back up to the 4 to still get on that 5 and make his way out of this rack.
Yeah, I don't know if he can split the window here between the 6 and 7 and check it. Back up one rail. Seems like it's too thin for that even. So we'll see what he's got up his sleeve. I mean, he could just tuck behind the pink here and send the 3 away. Unless he can get between the 6 and 9 and wrap around, but I thought the side might be in play.
Big risk there.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of these guys, Brad, I guess they like chipping off the right side. That 8 and 9 can be a big ball, but he might be going... Let's see what he's thinking here. I feel like coming off the right side is the play.
Yeah, I don't know if you can go for this because of how small that window is on the 5.
Wow, this just gives you an idea of how talented he is. Carl Boyes talks about Loho some quite a bit. That gives you an idea of his thought process.
Incredible, yeah. Total confidence, and NineBall's a confidence game, and took the right shot at the right time, and it looks like he has enough of it to get rewarded. Can always just stick him behind that 7 too if he doesn't like.
Yeah, exactly.
The
just
make.
Tuck him right behind the 7. If you think he can take it on, I mean, he just took the last ball on. I think he could take this on, but his percentages being this close of tucking him real well are pretty high.
Didn't get him in incredibly tight, but it's definitely serviceable. It's a uphill battle out of this rack from Sam, and we'll see what he has to respond.
Yeah, if he can get to the right long rail, I think it makes all the difference in the world. You got a real good chance of leaving him side rail to side rail. I'm a little surprised. I thought he might just smooth that. Is he going to fluke it in the side? He is. Well, never mind. The speed was right all along. Just thought he would smooth that a little softly right and have a chance to get in the top right, but if he doesn't get there, it most likely finishes side rail to side rail. But you can't fault him.
Looks like he's going to need to come up with another shot here, whether he decides to bank this 6 or possibly tuck up behind the 7. I think he's a confident shooter. I think he's going to go for the pot.
Yeah, it's pretty thin to the lower right with this distance. Might try to use the 7 here, like you touched on. I caught it too full. Yeah, just a little too full, maybe a little quick. Once he got down on the ball, it seemed like he got a little quick there. Well, this is right up Loho Sum's alley. He is a long ball guy. He squeaked it in, caught it thin.
Should put us even at 4-all with the trend continuing to keep the match incredibly tight.
All right. We are back. Gonna get a look at Sam's break. And Loho Sum's been around a little bit. He's young. He's 26 years old. Represents Hong Kong. He's had some good years as of late. 2022, earning $24,000. You still feel like he's young enough and on the improve. He's got such a great stroke, real natural. Another guy that represents Hong Kong that's done a lot of damage over the last year and a half or so, Robbie Capito. Robbie won the UK Open last year, and he's going to give it his best to defend that title this year. Looked like during the PLP that he was really one of the top guys. Him and Johan Chua were just dominating the field during the PLP, but it's not exactly how you start in that format. It's more about how you finish. Just wants to avoid any contact with the 6. He's handled this rack with ease, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. Worked his way out methodically. Should be a pretty straightforward out from here. He can either float up and play that 8 back in the side, or he can choose to play to the corner, whatever suits him more. He's got a lot of options from here, so. Go right for the corner and make it nice and simple.
Yeah, well-handled rack there by Loho-Sum. Do it, guys. Get your tickets the 5th through the 10th in August. I know a lot of people that'll be down there, the Caribe Royale. It's in Orlando. There's a lot to do, not just play pool. You can do a lot in the venue. They have several different bars. They have golf. You've got pools. It seems like there's 20 pools on that property. Great steakhouse on property. A lot of good food. A lot of good people. The rooms are nice. It's just a fun venue. Get your tickets now. All right, he's looking to play the 1 on the right side. Tell you what, he hasn't missed many arm days. Wow, just about dropped the 9 on a golden break, but Brad, we see it time and time again. They continue to miss the 9 low, and I'm looking to see how the contact is made on the 1, and I still feel like he's just catching it too thin. A lot of these guys have been doing this.
Yeah, that's 2 breaks in a row consistently, about ½ inch to an inch right below that pocket, just a little off, and you're right, really, really close to a golden break there to give him a lot of momentum, but rack is pretty open without many problems. Nothing really tied up here. Should be a straightforward out.
Yeah, he's got a good look at the 1, but getting down for the blue 2 is a little funny, right? That high ball, the problem with the high ball is that it tends to arc because you've got to hit it at such a speed that it wants to flatten out towards mid-table. He's got to avoid the 8. I wouldn't be shocked if he tries to punch, but the 2 might cause a problem there. So if he stays smooth with a high ball, I think he can get, somewhere past center table. But it's going to be tough to get all the way down table, I think. Just don't want to overpower this to where the cue ball arcs. And he should get there. I don't believe he meant to catch it that thick, but if he did, that was one of the best shots of the match, without a doubt. Really stayed level with a force follow ball there.
With a lot of confidence, and I like taking the inside, you're right, to avoid that bigger arc and avoid selling short center of the table there.
Sam's mom is in the building. She doesn't miss any of his events. She's constantly traveling around, talking to her for a little bit. Another thing I wanted to touch on is I know Jeremy Jones has been working with Sam, which I think is pretty important for Sam's game. Sam did have a little bit of a pause at the end of the backswing. Now he's pausing more at the cue ball, which I think is a more and more of the players nowadays are getting away from the pause at the backswing. Not saying there's anything wrong with it, but they're pausing more at the cue ball.
Seems there's a pretty good field of a lot of up-and-coming junior players right now in the U.S. that really should give us a bright future, with pool moving forward in the coming years. And I think Sam is a big part of that, being a younger player that shows a lot of potential to grow with this sport and grow with this tour for a very long time.
Yeah, he's at a great age. I think he's somewhere around 18 to 19. We were just trying to look that up. I think he's 18 still, like Brad was saying. But he's at a great age to really come on strong. And with what you're just saying, all the events that are happening, so many ranking events and so many things going on all over the country, there's a real reason now to get disciplined. Talk your family into letting you play these tournaments if you think you've got the talent and the work ethic, and get out here.
Yeah, it's a nice thing about being able to come to an open tournament, right? You could show up and be a fairly unknown, player and really make a name for yourself in a really short time. So if you're sitting at home and thinking about it, these are great events to get into.
Back and forth, trading blows. 5 apiece. And we're back. And if you all get a chance, do us a favor, share the stream, digitalpool.net/SBX. And then globally or worldwide, WNTTV.com. Check it out. Emily Frazier was just with us. We are excited to have her here, and we're excited to have this event and the ranking event. PA Pro-Am Pool, Frank Miletti producing the event, and we have the best and latest in technology equipment here in the booth.
Dialed that break in a lot more, like you said, and hit a little bit more full and pocket it right in the side. Not the luckiest leave here with the 2, but
yeah, is he looking at the jump cue? A lot of good things can happen if you catch it heavy, right? Might make the 6 directly. You could make the 2 off the back of the 6. If you're going to push out, I think this is the area down here to the lower right. Yeah, I don't know for sure. I don't know if he can just bank the 2 back down towards the pink and use the 5 in that direction. If he wants to bank the 2 down between the 7 and 9, I don't know. Very awkward. Might even give it back. Yeah, can he bank the 2 back down and go forward with the cue ball up to the top left corner, or is the scratch on? That's the concern there. Is he looking to just one rail the 2 up behind the 5? Well, that seems tough. Well, he hit it about as good as you could hit it, Brad.
Yeah, it's perfect. I think, you're leaving the 6 in a power position there. You're still putting yourself in a position where there's not a lot he can do here. Come off the rail, try to make a huge shot, maybe get safe behind that stack of balls, but it's a tough position for Sam to be in. I think you can see it come rail first, clip the side of the 2, and leave him down behind the stack. Just like this.
Pretty good, right? Just catching a piece of it.
Might have a window there. I can't.
Tell you what, he had to swerve that ball a lot, so you got to feel like he did real good to just graze a piece of that. You could have easily sent the 2 back down table, which could have caused some issues, but I think he does have the window, Brad. Long ball coming up.
Absolutely. And, I mean, there is some traffic in the way of being able to have an easy pot on the 3, but if he floats it out, I mean, there's a couple different ways that he should be able to find a path forward.
He might even be crossing this ball over. Yeah, just missed the 5. Did it leak? Yeah, I believe it did. He wanted to catch a little more of the 2 there. The more of the 2 you catch, the easier it is to get at that top rail and kind of dig your cue ball into the left long rail down here. So just caught it a bit thin.
9 got a little closer to the 3 ball, which, could complicate things a little bit depending on where he ends up here.
Needs to travel, and it did. Pretty good decision using an outside ball. Now, I don't know if he completely got him. Didn't at all. But he must not have been able to play that ball in the top left corner, obviously. Yeah, I think you've got to go to the side here and just find some type of gap for the 3. Anywhere on the left side of the table now, and he should be okay. Well, maybe a little misled by the angle. I thought that it was laying up real good to the side, and if it was, he would have shot it, so there's no way that it was. It was just past it. And a real great shot from where he was then. Control both balls, the cue ball and the 2. Can see a piece of it. That makes a huge difference. Well, that's not going to work.
Looks like it could be wired if you could see a piece of it. I think that 3 pots automatically.
Yeah, and can you just roll this and play the 2 in the lower right, just real softly? Or do you want to power this up and send it around? Hard to tell what kind of gap he's got there. I don't believe he has much of a gap. kind of tricky if you just want to roll forward here because of the corner pocket, but you're guaranteed position into the lower right. Okay, nicely done.
Yeah, Sam has played with a lot of finesse so far this match. I think he's going to continue doing that. It doesn't seem like he's forced a whole lot or overplayed a whole lot. It seems like he's doing just enough and really, really clean outs so far.
Oscar Dominguez leading 8-3 versus Frankie Hernandez. Get an update for you on the next match here. But I believe I have Skylar Woodward versus the young Eric Roberts. Get your popcorn and a warm blankie because it's chilly out here. I know that.
It's cooled down quite a bit. Had some wild weather here out east. 70, 80 degrees a week ago. We're back 30, 40 degrees now. It's wild.
Yeah, there you can see the 8 a little tough to flirt with down here to the lower left. So I think you just track one rail up to the short side, right? I don't think there's any trouble there.
Yeah, I would think he's going to keep it simple, and he does.
Yeah, he wants that to travel a little bit. At least get off the rail. Should be okay. Yeah, he might have to pitch down around the 9. I don't know if he can hold above it or not. Yeah, so it was a little trickier, and I thought he needed a foot or so more out of the cue ball coming back for the 7, from the 7. I think if you're low-ho sum, you've got to be thrilled to be at the table, right? You're down... got an opportunity. I mean, I don't know if you want to stay aggressive here. The 9 is a big ball down here low. Pockets are fairly forgiving, 4.5 inch. But he cut a ball in similar to this to top right not too long ago. Hard to believe he's cutting this because of where the cue ball might end up. Is he banking it? Wow.
Amazing shot.
Yeah, so clean. Look at the cue ball line that it took, just straight up and down. I know what his road shot is. What a hit. I believe it was a couple of games ago, Brad, that he shot something very similar on the 4 ball or the 5 ball. Pretty impressive stuff from Loho Sum, and a big error right there in game number 11 from Sam Henderson. The only place you really didn't want to be is way too high on that 8.
here we go. Low ho up to break again. Keep an eye on that one ball, tracking to that side pocket over there on the right. Pockets the ball with ease. Great break. Leaves himself a shot on the 2 here. Definitely going to run into a little bit of traffic, and we have Frank here joining us. Welcome, Frank.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going good.
Scott's going to step out for a few minutes. He's going to do some promotional work out on the floor for us.
Cool.
So I'm going to take over for him real quick. Nice shot by Low Ho-Sam. He's going to move the 9 out. So how you like it so far?
It's a great event, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so great event and awesome setup back here in the pro room. I say all the time that, you know, if you're into professional pool, right? I mean, this is probably the most accessible sport as a fan, right?
I said that this morning too. Same thing. Like,
It's incredible.
You can play your idols for $100, $200.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that. And I mean, even if you don't want to mix it in and play these guys, in a lot of professional sports, you're hard pressed to be able to get a photo op with someone or get a signature from someone. Come out to one of these events and mix it up. All of these players are real humans, and, you know, the majority of them very down to earth, so very approachable.
Lowe did not draw back as much as he wanted to on that 6 ball. Small order for him. He just banks it in the side and goes 3 rails. Got a good one coming up next round. It's going to be Eric Roberts versus Sky.
This guy's always exciting to watch, right? And we got to kind of see his counterpart and buddy, Billy Thorpe, play earlier. It was another great match on the stream.
Yeah, he's playing Rob Saez. Emily had said it earlier. The toughest thing we have here is we have so many good matches to.
Yeah, how do you pick?
How do you pick one? Yeah, it's
incredible.
a flip of a coin.
You have Jason Shaw coming up, right, against another.
Playing a local guy, your buddy too, Billy Gallagher.
Billy Gallagher, great local shooter here, one of our local 700 rated players. So, yeah, that should be a great match too.
All right, Lowe gets out, makes the score 7-5 and a race to 10. It's going to be Sam's break. So it was kind of how would you say it, nerve-wracking nervousness that Emily was on the stream.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think for you guys tuned in, knowing what's been going on with PA Pro-Am, make sure you tune in and follow that YouTube page as well. I'll shamelessly plug Frank because he's not going to do it himself. So definitely tune in. But I mean, Frank's done a lot for pool and in a very short time. It's come a long way. And it's funny, in my seat just a few minutes ago was Emily. Our good friend Dave just walked into the booth. Yeah, Emily was just in my seat a few minutes ago, and that's a pretty big milestone for your stream, so congratulations.
Thanks, but I'm staring at the computer going, please don't do anything wrong. Almost had the golden on the snap there.
Another great break with a ton of control, pockets the 1 ball. In that side, leaves himself a great opportunity on the 2 here. As Scott had mentioned earlier, they kept breaking the 1 ball just south of that pocket, and they've adjusted, started hitting a little bit more full, and found more consistency with that break. That break's a game-changing break for the 9 on the spot format. So.
All right, Sam's going to go. Sam inevitably is going to run into these 2 balls here. He can try to draw out. It's going to be a real tough order to draw from this position, especially arcing over top of a 3 ball. Let's see what Sam has on this shot. Just spent the last week actually with Sam up in Yale Billiards up in Connecticut. I was the tournament director for the matchroom event up there, and kid was hitting really good in practice every day. Played really strong in the event.
He's got to be one of the youngest WNT pros, right?
Yeah, I think only younger than him is Rico Pomphanen.
Yeah.
Maybe now that he's a WNT, I believe maybe AJ Manis. But he's the future of U.S. pool. And he's 18, 19-year-old. But you would talk to him, you would think he's a 25-year-old seasoned veteran. He's just incredibly humble. And on the flip side, Lowe, who's been around for a couple of years, is also just an amazing player in his own right.
Great opportunity here to I think you got to go for this, right, Frank? I mean,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you got to take the shot on the 9-ball.
not a whole lot of terrible can happen here.
Well, unless you're Frank Miletti, you'll probably just hang it and leave a combination 5-9. But I'm sure Sam will.
Sam might have a speed or two on us, I think.
Absolutely.
A little bit more confidence in Sam's game than ours.
All right, so Sam plays the 5-9 combination, makes the score 7-6.
We haven't seen any massive gaps in most of the stream matches. Everything has been fairly tight race-wise. So,
you know, it does happen now. Like sometimes you'll see like a high-end player like just really hit a gear against another high-end player. And I actually asked Sky Woodward this one time. I said, how do you fade that? Like if you just go up there and say play Jason, and Jason just cracks you like 9-1. Like
sure.
He says, I just do it back to him the next time I play him. You know, a lot of these guys understand it, that big, they catch a stroke at the right time. You're just watching for a half hour.
Yeah.
But with this alternate break format, you know, you're going to need a couple misses to catch those runouts.
Alternate break, and the race is long enough to be forgiving enough to let you get into your stroke a little bit. Yeah.
Low on the break. Takes the wing into the corner. 9 hits the point and rolls up. So it looks like the rack was about a centimeter low. So the ball was hitting prior to the middle of the pocket. It's going to be hard for him to play this one in and hold shape for the 3. He might actually let it go around the table.
He's got some left on the ball. I think he might let it go. Yeah.
Or
wraps it right back around. That's perfect.
Yeah. Punches the cue off the left side rail for the 4.
As we near the end of this race, too, this, you know, the 1-2 rack gap starts to become more and more meaningful. So big rack for Lowe here to go up 8-6 in a race to 10. Put a little bit of pressure on Sam and make sure that he, you know.
Yeah, having that 2 rack lead is always going to force them to have to break strong.
Sure.
And have to get out, because if not, then it could become a 3 rack lead within 1 miss. Low onto the 6 ball.
So for the viewers that are tuned in now, I know we have a lot more pool ahead of us this weekend, and they can go ahead and buy a pass for WNT and Digital Pool and follow along. We have a great long weekend. Even if you're just tuning in now, still makes a ton of sense to buy the pass. What does the schedule look like for stream tomorrow?
So we're going to have the continuation of the A side. So at 9 o'clock tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Awesome.
Will be the essentially the first round calls of the A side matchups.
Great.
And then we'll probably do the continuation of the A side plus some of the B side tomorrow. We have to move that B side along also. So I believe the B side is going to start in the morning.
Great bank from Loho to go up 8-6 in a race to 10. 2 racks away. Keep in mind it is an alternating break format. Sam Henderson up. Rack your own. That's a 9-ball on the spot. When Sam goes to break, keep an eye on that 1 ball tracking that center pocket to the right there.
You know, you had mentioned earlier about the tables and the streaming and Digital Pool. One of the great things that I love about Digital Pool, which is what got me to literally this point, was that Digital Pool does the all-table streaming, and they also have the Digital Pool Syndicate. If you're a streamer or a content creator, Digital Pool will allow you, for a small fee, which is how I started, will allow you to take these streams and ingest it into your own setup and basically create your own style. That's just one of the the innovative ways that they've been, helping the business out, especially with the all-table. They call it DPATs, the digital pool all-table streaming, which allows someone like me, like I said, to sit at home and pull up a match and commentate Federer versus Sky Woodward on a side table.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, and I hope people keep in mind here too that even when we're not on the air here, they can go onto Digital Pool and access those other streams, and there's a lot of pool to watch. So you should plan to take the weekend off and log online and spend a lot of time on your couch with us.
All right, so Sam's gonna play the push on the 6. He's gonna leave Low the jump. Low does have a slight height advantage over Sam, so Low's going to be able to reach this ball a little bit better. I want to check the side angle on this shot.
Oh, narrowly misses the pot. I mean, it was right there, and he couldn't have dressed up any better for that 2 ball.
Great on the 2.
Wow. Great shot, and opens the door for Sam to get back in here. So Sam's got to take advantage of this rack if he wants to tighten this race up.
All right, 2 rails out for Sam. I was going to get on the 2 in the side pocket. The 2 in, come down 1 rail for the 3. He doesn't want to get straight in on the 3, so either he wants to keep the angle high or keep the angle low. He's staring at that 4-6 on the top right corner. Gotta come out a little bit.
Yeah, it does afford him the ability to float up on the backside of that 4, though, and avoid needing to take the combo. And he won't need to worry about holding that 6 ball. He likes it. Dressed right over to the combo.
Just leaves himself a natural angle too when he plays the 4. The 6 ball does not fall.
It's the diamond shelf, right? I mean,
yeah.
The shelf is cut a little bit different. They're really, really deep pockets, and it's not going to be as forgiving as some of the other tables, but they play really true. I don't know about you, but whenever I get a chance to play in a tournament on diamond tables, it's always exciting, right? As a pool player,
I actually hit balls on this table last night, and this table's rolling very well in my opinion, but I am also not a world-class player, so there are nuances that they'll see versus what else, and that's an unfortunate miscue from Low.
Yeah, right. Especially at a time where he really could have kept his foot on the gas and went up 9-6 here.
Yeah, that could be a costly mistake for him in this matchup. Sam gets out from here.
And Sam had some momentum in the beginning of the match. Not that he's lost it now, but I'm just saying, Sam started hot, and he has the opportunity to keep that. His form is incredibly pure. If you watch him, he stands like a statue.
Yeah, he's been working a lot with Jeremy Jones lately. And JJ is one of the best teachers in the country.
All right, simple stop shot there. Pretty routine out here for Sam with the pot of this 9. This will close the gap, 7-8 in a race to 10. Stay tuned, some more great, exciting pool 2 when this match wraps up. Our next match on the live stream is going to be a great one featuring Sky Woodward, Eric Roberts.
CrossroadCues.com offers hassle-free, zero-interest financing on the most popular cue brands like Samsara, McWhorter, Nitty, and Southwest. With lightning-fast shipping, your cue will arrive in time for your next match. Buy, sell, trade, and consignment are also available at CrossroadCues.com. Don't wait. Contact us today.
All right, and we're back here with rack number 16. Low in the lead, 8-7.
Said the break dialed in. I expect it to stay that way.
Yeah, that miscue on the last rack's really costly. He could be on the hill breaking for the win.
Absolutely.
Instead, now he needs 2.
Unless he can swerve this, I think you're definitely going to see a push here. I don't know. He could swerve it, potentially make contact and get a safe up table, or come off that side rail there. But I don't know.
Yeah, even the swerve is it's going to possibly leave a shot. Yeah, you're right. He's going to just play the push to the top rail.
Yeah, it's smarter, especially as the momentum starts to swing. You want to try to make sure that Sam stays in position when he comes up to the table, that he's, not at an easy out here, and he's got to think and work a little bit. So I'd be interested to see if Sam can come up with a pretty tight safe here.
Yeah, it creates a lot of that distance.
Rail's super bouncy. Let's see how it responds.
Okay.
Unfortunate contact with the 5 there is going to hold that 2-ball up just high enough to give Sam a pretty good shot here. He's going to need to do a little work to get back to the 3, though. It's another shot where, again, it might not be the time to keep your foot on the gas and go for it. You might just want to be patient and play a more defensive shot here. Seems to be going for it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, good.
No, wound up with a big draw, and I think that's the risk there, right?
Yeah, it didn't leave too much for Low, but Low is definitely he's probably going to edge this ball and try to put the cue maybe behind the 8.
Just that you'd called prank at. It's just table started to slow down a little bit as we get later in the day.
Yeah, it's getting a little chillier in here.
Yeah, for sure.
And the freezer's not even in the room. It's still cold.
It's a good, well-timed trip.
Sam could go airborne. Looks like he's going back to get the short cue.
Keep in mind, guys, tell your pool friends this stream can be viewed globally at WNTTV.com. And if you're looking to catch all the replays, you should head on over to digitalpool.net. If you missed anything today, maybe you missed a match that you wanted to see earlier, make sure that you slide on over to Digital Pool, check them out, and catch some of the replays. And after the tournament's over, if you get bored next weekend and want to watch some pool, make sure you make a stop over at PA Pro Am Pool on YouTube. It's free to subscribe.
Lowe's going to play the 5. Use speed control to try to get to the 6 to the same pocket.
He's left himself some angle to float on up for the 7-2, so should he so choose.
Yeah, I'm looking for maybe 3 rails on low here. Left side rail right past the pocket. Top rail and then get close to the 7. But see, he's going to draw instead.
He's looking like he's punching it. There he goes. It must. Do we have
great
another
shot.
angle on that 7 for the side pocket or all the way down, just so we can see how? I don't know if he can finesse this in the side, or if he's going to play it all the way down.
I believe he'll take more of the pocket, just play it straight down the corner.
Yep. Yeah, it's always questionable on these pockets, right? Like, that'd be a no-brainer shot normally, always down table if you were on a standard WNT pocket that was a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
But with these being a little bigger, I've seen the players
Cheat
play
the side a little bit.
completely different game today, yeah.
And looks like Lowe is going to get himself onto the hill first. Lowe's on the hill, 9-7 against number 117 ranked Sam Henderson on the WNT hashtag 128 list.
Hello, the April is number 1.
Listen, if Efren Reyes says it, it must be true, right?
It's got to be true.
All right, going into rack number 19. Sam Henderson trailing by 2.
Controls in his hands right now. He's at the table.
Yeah. Two into the side. Going to dress up. He'll have a shot on the 1. 4's clear. So speed control off the 1 will give him the opportunity to get out.
Frank, how do you feel that the template rack has changed the sport?
There's arguments on both sides. So you'll see some gentlemen out there that'll say it's almost automatic. Okay. You'll also hear some people say that the template rack invokes cheating. Slide the rack a little bit here and there, but I would say that that's been going on for a long time. Players have been trying to manipulate the rack. But I believe that the template rack gives you the most consistent rack that you can achieve.
It's a game changer in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
Remember years ago, catch the point, good shot. Remember they had the Sardo rack years ago?
absolutely.
That never kept the balls very tight. It just pushed them together. You get some of the players in bar style players. You get the flimsy plastic that you can flex it. And Sam's looking to avoid the 8-ball on the ride down. Catches the edge of it a little bit. That's going to hurt him slightly.
It's always uncomfortable working close to the rail like that, but you shorten your stroke up a little bit, you move your hand back a little. I mean, at this level, this is a shot that you would routinely practice, right?
Yeah.
Being back on the rail. So maybe a little bit more anxiety-inducing for you and I than Sam Henderson, but uncomfortable nonetheless.
I believe here he's more worried, not necessarily about pocketing the ball, it's about where he's going to leave his cue afterwards. He's going to get close to the 6. Kind of a good two-way shot, but he clears out. Lowe is going to have a shot at the 5. See a better angle there. He's going to edge the 5, come around 3 rails, try to hide behind the 6 again. Doesn't quite get there. He actually might get the same shot back from Sam.
Hey, you called it, Frank.
So I'm just going to drift just a little. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're absolutely fine. I think it just you called that spot on right. He just oversold the shot just a little bit, right?
Yeah. All right, Lowe comes over one rail. He's got 4 balls left to get himself out to the 9-ball. I'm sorry, to the. Slightly distracted there. All right, Lowe's going to play the 7th in the corner. Come down to the bottom rail for the 8. Barring any catastrophes here, Lowe Sum is going to win this match and move on to the next round and put the young 18-year-old Sam Henderson on to the B side.
Yeah, it looks like it's curtains for Sam, but you know, there's been a lot of players that have come back from the B side, and Sam's got the ability to do it, so it's very early on in a long tournament. That does it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with a variety of us, right? We've had Emily here. We've
5
had
commentators on this one. 4 commentators.
Frank Mialetti, the CEO of PA Pro-Am and the man making it all happen today, and myself. So thank you guys so much for tuning in with us, and we hope to see you at the next match. What time is that, Frank?